Hi, you guys. First of all, let me make sure it's working because when I be recording, the sound will be working. So hold on. Okay, it's working. So we're outside. Okay, we're outside. Yeah, we was on live last night. We had us a good time, but I was doing like some reflecting today, right? And I had to like really sit back and look at myself, like sometimes it's not like like sometimes we gotta tell ourselves we might, I'm not saying something's wrong with us, but sometimes we play a part in how others respond to us, if that makes sense. Not every time, but sometimes like we can't just like let ourselves off the hook, meaning like everything that happens to us is somebody else's fault. It's like we can't just be like, well, but they did this and they did that, well, they the reason why I feel like this. But it's like sometimes we gotta look back and go back and look back, like what did we say to even make them respond like that. And I'm saying, not saying that the way what we did was a negative thing. It could be like, what did I say to make this person respond like this? Meaning, like, I'm not saying that we're the problem. What I'm saying is sometimes we like to blame others for how we're treated, and sometimes we are the problem. Like we can't just say, "Oh, they did this to me. They did this to me. They did that to me." But it's like, okay, but we have a part in it too. So I've been doing like some reflecting. I was like, you know what? Everything that has happened to me is not always someone else's fault. Sorry, I'm outside. It's not always someone else's fault. And I'm the type, like, if something's not like sitting right with me, if I feel like I need to be humble, or if I need to be told like, hey, sometimes you might say things that have somebody respond to you in a certain way, because we're not perfect. And I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, maybe I might have said things to people that made them respond to me in a way that I didn't like. It's like you had a part, you said something, but instead of that, I would look at myself like, well, I ain't say nothing wrong. Like, I don't feel like I said anything wrong, but you could have said something that made somebody respond in a certain way that you didn't like. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like for us to change, for us to want to be the better person, we have to acknowledge what exactly is that we got to change. We got to acknowledge that we're not always, it's not always somebody else's fault. We can't blame what we got going on other people. And I feel like the only way we can change is if we acknowledge that part. So it's like, I feel like we should acknowledge it and then change. You can't change, but you don't acknowledge. You know, so change is like basically doing something that you can't do. Meaning, like, you thought the person you was just a-okay, and there's nothing wrong with thinking that, but it's like when you get in certain responses from people that you don't like, you gotta look at yourself as well. Not beat yourself up, but it's like, what did I say to make this person respond to me like this? It's not, I'm not saying every time is your fault. I'm not saying that, but sometimes it is our fault. You get what I'm saying? But we like to brush that off. We like to say, well, I didn't say nothing to them to make them act like that. I don't know why they acting like that. We like to say that. We're like, I don't know why they acting like that. Yes, you do. You just don't want to admit. You don't want to look back and be like, okay, maybe I said something to trigger this person. Maybe I said something to make this person feel like this, like make them feel in a negative way. Not saying you can change anybody or you can make anybody do anything. It's just like, we're all human. Like, we think that we can't say something, even though we're not going in with ill intentions. Like, I feel like it's because we know we're not going in a situation with ill will, that we don't still end up hurting people. Like, we still end up hurting people even though we're not going in a relationship or any situation with ill intent. You can still hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, you're not trying to, but you can. So it's like, that's when we gotta come to a point where we gotta look at ourselves like, well, damn, what did I say something, or like what did I do to cause this? you know, Not saying it's gonna be like that every time, but sometimes we be the problem. You know what I'm saying? But the great thing about finding out that sometimes you are the problem is that now you can take that and change. So if you no longer want to be the problem every single time, it's like, but you can't change if you don't acknowledge what you're changing. You gotta say it out loud. You gotta be like, listen, okay, I did this, I did that. Maybe I said some things that wasn't very nice, or maybe I did some things that wasn't nice, so nice to this person or a situation, whatever it is. We can't skip that part and then go straight to change. You can't do that. It don't work like that. You have to acknowledge what you're changing, and you have to do things that you can't. Like, you gotta do things you can't. Like, you gotta do things that you tell yourself every day, okay, I can't do that. Or you know how you say, man, I ain't talking to them again. Forget that. Like, yeah, okay, I was wrong, but I don't want to apologize. But it's just like, you don't have to. Don't do it if you don't want to do it. But sometimes it's like you have to. If you want to be a better person, that's part of the process. Is you might have to apologize to some people that you never thought in a million years that you would apologize to. But it's like, if you're so determined, if you want change, that's like part of the process. You have to. So it's just like, not saying you have to, but like today, like, just sit back and just be like, everything that we like to put on other people, that is the reason why we feeling the way I'm feeling. Like, sometimes we gotta be like, well, what could have been my part in this? What could I have said to make this happen? It's not always somebody else's fault. Like, we gotta look at ourselves like, okay, maybe we said something, or we gotta say, yeah, we did. Oh yeah, I did do that. Yeah, maybe I did respond a different way. Or maybe I did say something to lead this person on, and I really didn't want to be. I didn't want to be with them. Well, whatever the case is, but it's like, you can't change until you acknowledge what you're changing. You gotta suck it up. It's called resilience. You got to suck it up and be like, okay, yeah, I did it. But you don't have to stay like that, though. Like, the best part of acknowledging what you need to change is the fact that you want to change. The fact that you don't want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we always say, I don't want to be how other people treat me, but we do it. Like, sometimes we treat people how we don't want to get treated. It's not because we're just mean and evil. It's just, we're human. We're not noticing that sometimes that we could be the problem as well, and we're not perfect, and we have to get humbled. You get what I'm saying? So it's just, yeah, we should just reflect. We should reflect. There's nothing wrong with apologizing. Not saying you gotta be in my life, but it's okay to apologize. And be like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have said, oh, you know what? You're right. I said some things that wasn't very nice. You said some things that wasn't very nice, but I'm talking about me. I'm not gonna talk about what you did. I'm gonna talk about what I did. I want to apologize for what I did. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always someone else's fault. Okay, it's a part we play in things too. And if we stay on that mindset that it's sometimes, or it's always somebody else's fault, we're never going to be the person that we need to be. So we got to acknowledge it and change it, but you can't change it unless you acknowledge it. So I just want to say that, and I'm never going to tell you guys to do something that I'm not doing. I had to sit with myself today. It was like, yeah, you might not like how they treated you in other cases, but you played a part in it. You know what I'm saying? You played a part in it. You're not innocent in this whole situation. That doesn't make me a bad person. I'm just acknowledging it. You acknowledging this, and I'm not saying beat yourself up. I'm not saying tell yourself you're a bad person. No, just acknowledge what you did so you can not do it again, or try your best not to do it again. Because we're human. We're gonna mess up again. But it's the difference between intentionally doing it and doing it when you're trying your 100% best not to do something and you end up doing it. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, and I just want to say I love you guys, and yeah, and I'm gonna post this on my YouTube channel too as well. But I just wanted to say that, and yeah, and I'll see you guys later.